My dear buddies, welcome back to the podcast. So, Dev and me are again ready with a very interesting topic which we should talk about. So, Dev, good evening.
Good evening, Vikas. How you doing? And how is everyone doing who is watching right now?
I hope everyone is doing well. Well, I always say this that it doesn't matter how life treats you, you gotta treat life really well. Simple, you know, and all the problems are sorted. So, here today we are going to be talking about a very critical topic, that is mental health in India. And before we start to talk about it, I would like to kind of give a disclaimer that this is not a medical advice. This is a personal opinion where I have been through a few things, and Dave has seen a few things in his life, in and around his friends and family. So, now, what is mental health? I mean, I'm laughing because in our country, we love our country, Dev and I, we love India. But mental health, the whole topic is an absolute joke in our country. Very often, if we talk to anyone, could be a family member, a friend, that looks like I'm facing mental health issues, I'm not well, I'm depressed, or I'm feeling down mentally, they would say, this guy is a loser. This guy is mental. They use this term very often in India. This guy has become mental. It means he has lost his sanity. So, unfortunately, mental health is way more important than your physical health, because you can have an issue with your arm and you can still live. That is, you could fall and your arm could break. You could put metal plates in your arm, but you could still live a very normal, functional life. And physical wounds are seen, they are visible, they can be diagnosed with an X-ray machine or visually, but mental wounds cannot be seen. That is the biggest issue when it comes to mental health. So, Dev, I would like to express what I have been through. I would like to tell a short story. Shall I go ahead?
Absolutely, Vikas. I just want to make a point that mental health has been, unfortunately, a stigma, a taboo. Talking about it has been a taboo for generations. At least now, because of proliferation of the internet, social media, at least now, people, the younger generation are uh, coming out, in some numbers, which is a very good thing, a very encouraging thing. And I totally agree that mental health is more important than your physical health. And a crude analogy I would like to say is, take for example your smartphone, your laptop, your smartphone. Okay, let's. A lot of people are watching this probably on a smartphone, right? I mean, so a smartphone has this hardware, and then it has the operating system, right? So it's just the software is kind of like the mind, like the brain. So any issue with the software, eventually the smartphone is not going to function, and it can also cause problem with the hardware as well. The it can increase the clock speed of the processor, and eventually the processor might get faulty, stuff like that. So both mental and physical health are extremely important, and especially mental health. I totally agree, and you're most welcome, and to share your personal story related to mental health. And uh, and I just want to say that people who come out and talk about their mental health are very, very brave people in society, and more people have to come out and speak it openly. I mean, what's wrong? I mean, like, we want to, tell all our, physical problem. I have BP, I have sugar, I have this, that, oh, my have problem with my leg, my shoulder is paining, I have a sprain here. Oh, I fell and I got a fracture. So why not, just speak about your mental issues as well, So yes, please.
Very well explained, Dave. So, I'm going to be narrating a story of my life. In the year 2016 and 17, I went through extremely tough situations in my personal life, in a relationship. So, that was the first time when I had a breakup. Okay. Before that, I never understood how it would be to part from someone that you really loved and had a great relationship with. So, in the year 2016 and 17, I was facing a situation which could probably be the end of a 15-year relationship. Okay, relationship which started in the year 2002. And for me, I did not know how to understand or accept that thing happening to me, that is losing a person from your life. And most of the time, depression and mental health issues happen when you face something for the first time. I mean, the hit is going to be the hardest the first time. So, generally, people, when they lose a family member because they passed away, someone died in the family and they've never seen death before, they do not know how to handle it because that software is not there in your brain. It is absolutely new for you. So that is when you get into depression or extreme level of anxiety. So at that point of time, now you mentioned a very good point. That is, unfortunately, in our Indian society, talking about our shortcomings or talking about our so-called mistakes or talking about our vulnerabilities, desires, or the things that we have done which led to a not so good result. Okay, talking about those things are associated with shame, embarrassment. So, for me, the issues that I was going through in my relationship in 2016 and 17, if I had to talk to someone, okay, whom would I talk to? Okay, will I talk to my parents? Unfortunately, in India, parents, well, they kind of love you a lot, that at least say so. But if you go to them talking about something as sensitive as your relationship issue, they most of the time will not be able to relate with you because of differences in generations, cultural differences. They feel awkward talking about the son's or children's relationship with them. Parents don't want to talk about the issues of their children's relationship in general. And next, whom will I talk to? Will I talk to friends? I mean, here again, it's a very confusing and a sensitive matter because I need a friend who has that maturity level with whom I can share sensitive information about my marriage. And even till 2016 and 17, our society did not have that maturity level where they would listen to, for an example, Vikas's marital issues and still keep it kind of confidential and not make Vikas feel embarrassed or insulted. Most of the time, when we talk about these topics with friends, they would simply go take an opportunity and talk to 20 other people that, you know what, Vikas told me this, what an idiot he is. He could not handle such a small issue in his marriage. He's an idiot. So, because people are not welcomed to share their problems and their problems are not kept confidential, people refrain from sharing them. So the same thing happened with me. And next, whom would you talk to? At least in so called fully developed nations, you have professional people, sometimes known as psychologists or shrinks or therapy, whatever it is. You could book a session, go meet them, or over the phone. Simply express yourself the way it is. You could have done a nasty thing in your life, but being able to express without being judged in a negative manner is a blessing. Because most of the time, people do not expect you to solve their problems. They simply want you to listen to them and say, hey, I understand, we are humans. We can do this. So, in 2016 and 17, there was no professional that I could find in India with whom I could talk to with regards to the issue that I was going through in my relationship. I Googled, I typed, therapy, mental health. No, I could not find. And in 2017, one day, things were getting so bad that I realized I was in depression. There are signs of depression. Now, this is my personal experience. The moment you are into depression, the way to diagnose yourself is, number one, I was a person who had no issues being in the dark. Most of my life, I've lived in the night, I worked in the night, I can live in a room which is completely dark and be very happy and peaceful. But during that time, 2016 and 17, I would get scared of being in a dark room, extremely scared. Not that I would fear a ghost or a spirit or anything like that, but that darkness would make me feel extremely scared. Okay. So this is one sign of you being in depression. Next, this is very strange, but it happened. I started to feel that the walls were getting closer to me when I'm in a room. You'd feel very claustrophobic even in a full-sized bedroom, and you'd feel that the walls are getting closer. And you have an extreme sense of something which you cannot explain. This is the biggest issue. Now, with depression, you'll not be able to explain what is happening to you. So, also, you unfortunately will find ways to kind of, I don't want to say this, but finish yourself, I was a person who used to kind of laugh at people. I'm sorry, I mean, not on their face, but behind them. When someone told me, before 2016, if someone told me that they wanted to finish their life because of a relationship issue or something like that, I would kind of smile and laugh behind them, saying that they are not strong people. Life is beautiful. How can you feel like that? But I started to get those tendencies. So these are the very few signs of depression. There can be many, many signs of depression. So I decided that now I think I need help. Could be medical help, could be professional help, because I had a lot of responsibilities on my head, and if something happened to me or if I did something bad to myself, then it is not a good situation for people who were dependent on me. So I went to a very big hospital in Hyderabad. Okay. And I went to the reception and I said, I need to talk to someone who can help me because I'm in depression. And the lady looked at me like this. Yeah, who is this mad fellow? He's coming to, with her expression, I could understand that she's thinking that who is this mad fellow? She didn't answer. I said, I heard there are psychiatrists, psychologists, someone whom I can talk to because I am in depression. And she said, oh, okay, please sit. Probably no one approached them the way I did before that. So she connected me with a neuro psychiatrist. Okay. So, I paid the consultation fees, I waited, and it was my turn. You know what I had on my mind? The way it was shown in movies, that you would walk into a nice room, there would be a sofa, and there would be someone sitting there along with you and talking to you about, hey, tell me what happened. I'm there. And they would give me at least 30 minutes of time, listen to what I've been through, and then probably suggest a medical remedy. But here, I walked into that room to meet the so-called doctor, and it was like a regular consultation room. You see how a doctor's consultation room is. It is simple, white, it is small. There is a table, there is a chair. That's it. So I greeted the doctor. I said, good morning. He said, yeah, how could I help you? So I said, doctor, I believe I'm in depression because of a relationship issue. He said, okay, fine. What is your age? Okay. And he simply took a pen and a paper and he started to write down medicines. In 2 minutes. So I was surprised. I asked him, doctor, would you like to listen to my story? It is very critical. Can you give me 15 minutes? He said, no. Don't worry. It's not required. I know what is happening. Your neurons, there is this issue. The electrical pulse is not going from one neuron to another. So we have to give you some medicines which is going to fix it. Your hormones, the dopamine. Bro. I understand that you're reading a textbook, but mental health cannot be solved only by medicines. You need to talk to me. And he did not do that. Okay. So he even asked me to get a brain MRI done to see in case there are any blood clots in my brain. So I went, did a brain MRI, and I met him the next day. And he simply gave me a list of, I think, about 5 or 6 different tablets. Okay. And he did not give me any kind of a warning about those tablets. Like every powerful tablet would have a side effect or something like that, right? And I looked at those tablets and they were huge. 1000 mg each. Okay, 1000 mg each. So I bought them, kept them beside my bed. For the first 3 days, I did not take them because I did some reading on Google, and what was written on Google was scary. It was written that these drugs, they are literal drugs, okay, legal drugs. They take over your nervous system, they take over your brain, and they play with your hormones, trying to repair your mental health by physically playing around with your body. Okay, so I did not wish to start the medicines, but after 3 days, I was feeling extremely low, and I thought, you know what, let's just start it. So I started the first so-called dose of 3 tablets. Okay, I had to take them in the morning and in the night, and within 3 to 4 days, I became like a living dead person. Okay. These tablets, what they do is, number one, they slow down the brain's processing power. Your decision making becomes slow. You become numb. You become like a zombie. Your energy levels completely go down. You also sleep for about 12 hours a day. You cannot get up after taking those tablets. Probably they have some kind of sedatives in them, and you start putting on very high amount of weight. My metabolism is extremely good. I don't put on much weight, uh, but I started to put on couple of kgs in a week or 10 days. It was scary. I could feel it. My pants getting tight, everything becoming tight, uh, and I'm 40 years old. I still have considerable amount of hair on my head, and at that point of time, I only had to do this, and 20, 30 strands of hair would come out. And all this I could notice within 1 month of me consuming those tablets. So I Googled, and yes, on Google it was confirmed that these are the side effects that you would get. And I went to the doctor and I said, "Sir, something is wrong. It looks like these tablets are not suiting my body. This is what is happening. I cannot operate like this. I have to run a company. I have to do a lot of things." He said, "No, this is the procedure. You have to keep taking them." Then I said, "But I think I have to stop because I will not be able to operate my day-to-day life." He said, "No, do not stop, because these drugs, once you start them, you have to take them for minimum 1 year. If you stop in between, the side effects are going to be extremely bad, and your whole body, your chemical reaction, everything will go for a toss, and it can be lethal." I thought in my mind that, "You son of a, why didn't you tell me this before, bro? I mean, this is not fair. Before I start taking these medicines on the first day, you should have told me when you were prescribing them that once you start, you can't stop them for 1 year." But again, we don't take no for an answer so easily. So I did some more research on the internet and decided to quit these tablets. But I knew I should not do it straight away. So I started to cut the tablets literally. I took a blade. Okay, it was a 1000 milligram tablet, pretty big. So I would cut 1/3 of it and take the remaining of it. Okay, so I did that for 2-3 days. Then again, I would cut half of it and take the remaining half for another 10 days. And then only kind of a quarter of it. So I did that by reducing the dosage on my own, and it took about 1.5 to 2 months for me to get to a stage where I could stop taking those tablets. Because what used to happen is that if one day I did not take that dosage, my body would start to scream, and like it was like, I don't know, I've never done some chemical drugs, but it was an addiction where my body would ask for those drugs. So I like a miracle, was able to stop consuming those tablets. But overall, I think I consumed them for about 4 to 5 months, and my body took another 6 months to recover. So this was the case when I resorted to medication to solve my mental issue. So now in those 6 months of me consuming the tablets, did it really help my mental state? Not at all. Not at all. There was not even 1% improvement. Because how can a tablet do anything when I'm missing my childhood sweetheart? A tablet is not going to bring back my childhood sweetheart. So it was only numbing my brain. It was only making me a zombie temporarily. So now this is my personal strong opinion with backed up data and experience, that if you are in a situation where you are depressed, Try talking to people. Go out in sunlight. Go jog, run. Sunlight is a great, energy giver. It takes away depression. It is exactly opposite to depression. So try to treat yourself organically, but I vouch for this, that stay away from medicines. Okay, unless and until you really want to do it, then go ahead, do it. That is, take medicines. But I personally do not recommend medication at all for mental health. So I have a little more story to tell, but before that, let's bring in Dev and say what he has to mention about my experience.
Hey, Vikas, I don't have words to say. I mean, you have gone through such heavy shit in your life, but I'm extremely glad that, you came out of that, you came out of that dark phase, and, you're doing fine, you're thriving. And I wish, you remain the same and you're always at your best ability. I have actually a similar story to tell about a close friend of mine. He got married in 2010, around 2010. Uh, it was all, pre social media time. There were hardly any discussion about mental health in society. And so this close friend of mine in India, so he fell in love with his colleague. He has to work in the same company, and they decided to get married. But then, just even before marriage, there used to be a lot of issues with amongst them with her, especially. She had a lot of baggage. She had a lot of mood swings, and but then this guy, a poor guy, my friend, he took a chance. He got married, and he was totally unprepared. What ensued, right? So just a few months after he got married, she started becoming distant. She started to go socialize just by herself with her friends, come very late on the weekends. And this person, it was pretty traumatic, what he experienced. And eventually, it led to, breakup and divorce. And he fell into depression. And so what I understand from my experience, from talking to a few of my doctor friends, is that depression is inability to experience or feel pleasure. So no matter how exciting things were, it doesn't excite you anymore after a certain traumatic experience. So this is what I would say depression is. And kind of like ruminating about the past, uh, you know being bored in general about life, being locked up inside your house, inside your room, not stepping out. So these are kind of like major symptoms of people who are undergoing depression. And so he was put similar thing to you. He was put on he was misdiagnosed, I guess. He was thought to have bipolar. Mental illness comes with various forms. There are like variety of mental illness: bipolar disorders, schizophrenic, depression and anxiety is what a lot of people are aware of and most common, I would say. And then there's paranoia, claustrophobia, which is all connected to one or the other issue, mental issue. So coming back to this guy, so he was put on antipsychotic, something olanzapine or something, and he got addicted to it. He couldn't sleep without it. He gained a lot of weight, and finally, he was He went to another psychiatrist or psychologist. I think psychiatrists. I mean, I think psychologists are not. They don't have right to prescribe medication, so it's always psychiatrists, I guess. So the other psychiatrist said, "Hey, no, this is, you're undergoing depression." So they put on SSR, antidepressant tablets. So he took for like a year or something. Same thing, was getting all the nasty uh, side effects. And I want to make one point, Googling the symptoms is a double-edged sword. So take with a grain of salt, because, some cough or cold, you Google it, it could be lung cancer or something, or tuberculosis. So always, whatever you're sharing is very, very personal. And we, again, restate that please always take advice of a medical professional. And so coming back to the story, so he started, reducing the dosage. He started taking counseling from a psychologist, who do non-medication therapy, like CBT or some kind of affirmation healing, stuff like that. So eventually, he was able to wean himself from that, from whatever medications he was taking, and he started feeling better. And so that was his story, which I watched from close quarters. And also I want to talk about smoking and drinking as well. So a lot of people, all across the world, once they undergo trauma, they start taking some kind of a drug, some kind of a intoxicant. They start self-medicating. The pain is too much, unbearable. I would say mental pain is much painful than physical pain. Right? And so a lot of people take to drinking, or other kind of drugs. And also, so this person as well, he used to drink socially. And so after his divorce, he started drinking every day in large quantities, multiple bottles of beer, like close to half a bottle or 3/4 bottle of whiskey sometimes. And so I want to say, alcohol is a depressant. So you're already you're depressed and you're consuming alcohol. So that causes it amplifies, essentially amplifies depression. So eventually, working through counselor, he was able to cut down on his alcohol habits. I mean, he still drinks right now. I mean, but yeah, it's like back to his just once or twice a week socializing thing habit. That's what he has with alcohol. That's the I wanted to say. And so Vikas, so I can really relate to whatever you went through, all the dark events that you said. It's very brave of you that you shared in front of the audience. And that fear of the dark, it's absolutely true. It reminds me of this popular Iron Maiden song, "Fear of the Dark." For some reason, big fan of that band. And why I mentioned that is because a lot of hard rock and heavy metal songs, these artists speak about mental illness, so about mental trauma and also societal issues as well. So what I would say, suggest people what could heal them from these dark phases is like, try to go into nature, do outdoor stuff as much as possible. Try to go like, every weekend, just, go and climb, some hill, around your city. If you're in a coastal area, just hit the beach, as many times as possible, because the ocean is a very, very healing force. That salty air, being in the beach, hearing to that ocean waves, it's healing itself. Be in the sun and sunshine, as Vikas you said, right? I mean, vitamin D, very essential. Even though we don't have the capability to do photosynthesis like plants and trees, vitamin D plays a very, very vital role. And people who are living in low sunshine, mountainous place, I mean, it helps if they go to some. I think, I mean, in India, we are kind of blessed. I mean, we have pretty a lot of sunshine for the most part, for the most places. But if you see, in some countries such as Northern Europe, right? I mean, they have pretty low sunshine in for large amount of duration of the year. So a lot of these like countries like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, you know, I've heard, they take a huge chunk of population there on antidepressants, and sunshine is very essential, and also this is one of the reason why during lockdown a lot of people were depressed because they just were confined in their houses, right? And also dark chocolate helps. um, then listening to your favorite music, absolutely, or creating music, these are all like exercising. Yes,
Avoid
huh?
love songs. Avoid love songs at any cost. It's extremely important
Yes,
when you're in
yes, yes,
depression. No love songs. Only solid, high
yes,
pitch, electronic music or rock or something like
yes.
that. But no
Yeah,
love
yeah,
songs.
very, very true. Especially Indian cheesy love song, those Devdas type of songs. Yeah, just listen to like some happy pop or soft rock, classic rock music or whatever. Even even there are like a lot of very upbeat Indian songs that you can listen to as well. Do something which really interests you, loves you, gives a lot of pleasure. So that's the way to come out of depression. And since we're talking about mental illness, I also want to talk about anxiety also can stem out from traumatic experiences. you know for example, let's take this. I mean, this friend of mine, he also went through anxiety. He also went through anxiety because when a divorce happens, or also when you lose a close family member, there is something called separation anxiety. Even it's very notable amongst dogs. you know the you can observe in dogs how the moment the owner is going to his or her work, or leaving it, they become very, very very sad and very agitated sometimes. So there's something called like anxiety due to separation. And that can again have a some chain reaction, and they start getting anxious in all aspects of life. you know be it having a deadline in at the workplace, at the work, or they have to make some presentation. They People who never experience anxiety because of some trauma, they start getting anxious. And uh, and also some people have they might start fearing flying, or social anxiety. Some people might start fearing socialization as well. So anxiety is something which is thinking about the future, anticipating worst case scenario in the future. So that's about it.
Dave, extremely well explained. Thank you so much. I would like to say a sentence that is, what happens is when people are in depression for whatever reason, the biggest mistake that they do is enjoying their sadness. So it is a very confusing statement. enjoying your sadness. How can anyone enjoy their sadness? Yes, people enjoy their sadness. I'll give you an example. If someone left you, okay, you're feeling depressed. You know that. Now, what you would do is play sad music, love songs, take a drink, sit on a table, and keep listening to that love song on repeat and keep consuming alcohol. So here, you are not repairing the wound. You are scratching the wound and you are enjoying that sadness. You do not want to get out of it because, see, everything gives you pleasure. Okay, sadness gives you pleasure, positive things give you pleasure. There's also known as sadistic pleasure, right? So, without realizing, you are actually thinking you're trying to get out of that problem by listening to love songs. But you are getting deeper into it because you're enjoying that experience. You will do it every night. Every night you will sit, listen to the same song, have that drink. Because it is giving you some level of pleasure without you realizing it. So, you should stop enjoying your sadness and put hard rules on yourself. To get out of depression, you have to set a few protocols. Now, when I was in acute depression for those years, 2016 and 17, I told my friends, no one is going to take me to a place which plays love songs. Okay, that's a rule. Number two, do not take me to a movie which is oriented around love or romance or anything like that. Okay, so these rules have to be set for you to take that leap. You have to jump out of that pit known as depression, correct? So, next thing many people do is they resort to sleeping pills. This is an extremely important thing that I would like to mention. What happens is that when you are depressed and when there is anxiety also pumping in, you will not get sleep. So, when you not get sleep, next day you got to go to work, you got to live your life. So, if you go to a doctor, the doctor could prescribe sleeping pills. And our brain loves sleeping pills. Let me tell you this. Because you simply pop one small thing, I think some 10 mg, 20 mg, and you will peacefully fall asleep. And you're not going to wake up for next 10 hours. Our brain loves it. And people, once they start taking sleeping pills for the rest of their life, they won't be able to stop it. I know people personally who are completely dependent on sleeping pills. Now you would say, so what is the big deal, right? Let me take sleeping pills, that way I can sleep peacefully. It is a big problem. Number one, it is playing around with your body's chemical reaction, natural chemical reaction. And it takes away the ability to sleep without the sleeping pill. So tomorrow, if you are in a situation where you do not have that medicine pill, you'll not be able to fall asleep for days. Okay. So that can be extremely lethal on your health. Number three, when you take a sleeping pill and sleep, even in an emergency, you'll not be able to get up. Your house can catch fire. You'll not be able to get up. You know that? It can be so serious. You could get a phone call from a family member that someone is dying. We need you somewhere. You will not be able to pick up the phone call. You'll not realize the phone is ringing because you are sedated. It is like anesthesia. Okay. And you're sleeping. So, we need to be able to get up in case of some emergency. When we sleep, we'll not be able to do that. And also, you will not get up to pee sometimes, and that can lead to issues, in your kidneys or your bladder and all of that. So, the after effects, side effects, the consequences of depending on sleeping pills is very serious.
All you said about sleeping pills, they are addictive and could be, extremely dangerous. And they are supposed to be taken for certain duration, for certain phase of life where you're because of as you said, like due to some trauma or depression, but eventually you have to wean yourself away from those sleeping pills. And there is a reason why it's very hard to get them actually, technically. Some people, I don't know, like they do some jugaad and get it, but they are very they have to be prescribed from a healthcare professional. And as you said, totally, they have a lot of side effects, and it could be fatal, as you said, like if some person, if he's not feeling the effect for one pill, he may pop like two or three, right, he or she, and like his room catches on fire, or some there's some medical urgency of his some family member in his own house, and he won't be able to attend it, right? They might be screaming and shouting, please help me, or call the doctor, ambulance, whatever, and he's sleeping. So it's extremely dangerous. I totally agree. And the side effects are there, and also these antidepressant as well. They have also have a sedative effect as well. So that is why even antidepressants are so hard to quit. Because it's like, hey, at least I was taking SSRs, and I was able to sleep. Now I'm not able to sleep. Let me take those antidepressants. So this is how the mind starts working. As you said, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of issues with sleeping pill. Please be very careful with this, and never ever take them without prescription.
Correct. And Dev, with regards to the antidepressants, I would like to add another point here, especially for men. When we take antidepressants, it can lead to erectile dysfunction. It can knock your sexual life off, and you'll be surprised that that part of yours will not get stiff at all. You'll get shocked. Like, how is this possible? Something is going wrong in my body. So till the time you keep taking these antidepressants, you will be a man who cannot have sex.
Oh, because 100% agree. That's what I have known from health care professionals as well. Even this friend, he was when he was on antidepressant. I mean, suddenly, he lost his libido. He used to be he used to have such a healthy libido, and suddenly, that was gone. So it's not a laughing matter. It's a serious issue. Divorces are happening because, so either the man or the woman is having issues with the libido, right? So absolutely, you brought a very, very important point, that is, antidepressant and certain kind of antipsychotics can lead to impotency. That's what they call, right? Impotency.
Correct. And in a man, very few people understand this, that being generally sexually active or sexually satisfied, or our testosterone pumping, is extremely important for our mental health. The moment a man's testosterone levels are low, he will naturally feel depressed. Okay, so here the antidepressants are actually killing your testosterone level. So it's double depression for a man. Okay, like I was missing my childhood sweetheart, I was depressed, and also testosterone not there, not having any romantic or sexual feelings. Oh my God, you'll hate yourself.
Yeah, because very true. And a very sad part, sad thing is, the average age of people who have depression, it's getting lower and lower. More, depression is hitting people who are in their teenage, in the 20s. People, men in their 20s, early 30s, having issues with their libido, which is absolutely crazy. There is already a problem with the sperm count, right? I mean, and also due to a lot of other factors, environmental factors, stress. The younger generation is they are at a much higher level of stress as well. And from various research sources, that the average testosterone is getting lower and lower. So what we had is what the youngsters are not having. They are having much less testosterone level. So coupled with depression and antidepressant pills, it's kind of like a disaster. And that's why, we are seeing such a huge problem with people not able to conceive, not able to have babies. These now, IVF and all those things are thriving. Why? Because of low sperm count, and some men having all these issues. They're lacking libido, and babies have to be made the other way, unfortunately. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Dave. And the specifics that we mentioned in this video are something which cannot be found easily on the internet, cannot be found in any textbook. Even doctors will not be able to explain this to you. So someone has to go through it personally in a hardcore manner to be able to express this to people. So the audience, the viewers, feel free to type in the comment section, and simple. Stay positive. Life is short. We are only here for a few decades. People will come, people will go, money will come, money will go. Till the time you have your physical health and mental health sorted out, live your life. So that's all that I want to say. So thank you very much. Do subscribe to this channel, like, share this video with anyone who's feeling depressed. And Dave, before we sign off, you can say something and then we sign off.
Yes. Thank you, Vikas. And I wish, everyone who's watching plenty of, happiness. And if you're going through any crisis, just take it a day at a time. Don't be very harsh or hard on yourself. It's a very short life. Everyone dies. Why do you want to die early, right? I mean, so a lot of times, when you're undergoing such a crisis, you think, that's the end of the world. Or, you start victimizing yourself, oh, why me? Why I'm such a nice person? Why is it happening to me? Why not my enemy? Why are good people, I'm such a good person. Why is it happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. But then, there's always hope. See, I remember this quote from Shawshank Redemption. So hope. I may be wrong. I mean, but the entire movie, the premise is hope is the greatest thing. Hope, without hope, is everything is hope. So hope is the difference between life and death. So never ever lose hope, even at your darkest phase, darkest moment in your life, because it's just a phase. Once you get through that phase, you never know. Life could be so beautiful, so fantastic, right? So always. So these were all personal experiences of other people, of Vikas himself as well, and always seek professional help from healthcare person. And another thing, because I want to say is, when it comes to health, physical health, people are very readily able to spend money on their physical health. They immediately go to the local doctor specialist and get it treated. But for some reason, people are still hesitant to talk to mental health professionals, be it psychiatrists or psychologists. And some are, some act miserly as well. Like, hey, why I want to spend like 1,000 or 2,000 rupees per hour? But you never know what that 1 hour of counseling session can do. It can, completely change your life. It can, completely, you can really, start healing with your mental illness. So don't skim on your mental health, so life is very short, so enjoy the ride.
Very well said, Dave. And one last line I would like to say before we sign off, that is, the easiest way to come out of any depression or anxiety is to have a care, a FUCK attitude. See, we get depressed feeling that we have lost something or someone, okay, or we have not been able to achieve something or someone. So we get anxiety because we feel that we might not be able to achieve something. We might not be able to save that so much amount of money for our retirement, or we might not get that promotion or whatever. Okay. If you have a care, FUCK attitude, it's like, you know what? People will come, people will go. I don't care. FUCK. I'm going to be a decent person. I'm going to live my life. If people go, fine, up to you. Okay. So if you have that kind of an attitude, you will come out of depression much faster and you won't have any anxiety. Till the time you are seeking validation from the society and from others, you will always be depressed, always have anxiety. So the biggest issue why people do not talk about their depression and anxiety is simple. They feel embarrassed and insulted. Correct? They'll feel that, you know what, I had an affair. If people get to know, what will they feel? Yes. Only humans can have an affair. Animals cannot have an affair. So it's a natural thing what humans do. See, everything that a human does is very natural. You were programmed to do it. It is scientific. It is biological. So you have not done something which you were not supposed to do. Got it? So take an absolute relaxed approach towards it. Don't care a damn about what others feel about you, because in the end, whatever happens to you, you have to swim that ocean on your own. No one can swim on your behalf. No one will swim on your behalf. So no one is going to help you. You are there to help yourself. So the best way to help yourself is care FUCK. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Do subscribe, like, comment.